Everyone's trying to be the best version of themselves in 2024, and that should include the San Francisco Giants. Welcome into another edition of the Kerry Crowley Show. Last episode of the 2023 calendar year. I wanted to end things on a little bit of a lighter note. Let's forget talking about Blake Snell, Matt Chapman, the next move the Giants should make. And let's talk about what you envision for the San Francisco Giants in 2024. Drop those thoughts in the comments section. And I'll talk about what I see for the Giants in 2024. I opened the offseason starting this podcast really on a very serious note because I think that this is a pivotal time in the history of the Giants organization. I think that there are a lot of fans who want a reason to stay engaged and to stay interested in the Giants. And it's important that the front office and ownership sees that, hears the fans' needs, hears the fans' desires, and really communicates that they are open to change because this is a Giants organization that has done things a certain way since Farhan Zaidi took over in 2018, November of 2018, and there's been some really good moments during his tenure. You know, the Giants brought in guys like Mike Yastrzemski, Lamont Wade Jr., Camilo Doval has come up and been a great closer. Logan Webb was developed, of course, drafted by a previous front office, but developed by this front office and has come in and assumed the ace role that this team very much needed him to take. So as we think about 2024, we think about our own goals. I want to eat less chocolate, lose a little bit of weight. I want to focus less on being perfect on these podcasts and more on simply making them every single day, responding to more comments, and really building a community here. That's what this is all about. I think I'm often really hard on myself, thinking that every word I say has to be perfect. But as I've learned so much in the last few months on YouTube, it's really just about making these videos, corresponding with Giants fans, and really treating this as a community, because that's what's so important for me is, I spent 5 years as a beat writer, and my favorite element of covering the San Francisco Giants on a day-to-day basis was getting emails from longtime fans, getting tweets from longtime fans who just said that they liked a particular story, they took issue with a particular story, just that they read a specific story. They heard me on the radio talking about something, and I just feel like the Giants community, the Giants fan base is so special, and it's one that I want to stay engaged with throughout the 2024 year. So one thing that I'm focused on, look, there's no microphone today. I'm on vacation, got a different camera setup. I just want to make these videos and connect with you because that's really what this is all about. And that's what I get the most joy from, is reading your comments, reading your insight, and really feeling like, together we can, make voices heard and help bring light to the important issues facing the Giants and facing fans moving forward. So let's get right into this. 5 New Year's resolutions for the San Francisco Giants. I think one at the top of my list, I've thought about this a lot. Look, I grew up in San Francisco in the Sunset District, taking the El Taravel down to Embarcadero Station, taking the ballpark shuttle, and going to games and watching Barry Bonds play. And I think that every kid who was too innocent to understand that, what was happening was, the result of things that maybe shouldn't have been happening in the game of baseball at that time, to me, 7, 8 years old, it was pure magic. It was incredible to see Bonds launch balls into McCovey Cove, and from that era into Tim Lincecum, and every fifth day, just having a special aura about his starts and really feeling like there was magic every time he took the mound. And then you usher in 2010 with Buster Posey, and the franchise changes in its history forever with that first World Series title. And so the first decade of the ballpark's existence, there was so much for fans to enjoy. There was so much for fans to be proud of. It was the most special ballpark experience in all of Major League Baseball. And I still think it's top 5. But to me, the Giants must evolve, and that is resolution number 1. The Giants have to make Oracle Park more fun, more exciting, and more engaging for fans. A lot of the traditions that have existed inside the ballpark have really been there since it opened back in 2000. We're talking about nearly a quarter century of games now taking place at Oracle Park. Some of the most incredible and most memorable times of any Giants fan's life have transpired at Oracle Park. But I think that this is not just a front office thing. This is not just a team thing. This needs to be every person in the organization pulling on the same rope, tugging it in the same direction, and figuring out ways to re-engage the fan base and make a trip to the ballpark more special. Because look, it's not every day you've got a Barry Bonds or a Tim Lincecum walking through those doors. That's a generational talent right there. And the Giants may not have one of those right now. But I do think, the business operation can get together, the marketing operation can get together, the game day experience people can get together, and they can be innovative. They can create excitement. They can create, a special closer entrance for Camilo Doval, and I know that they worked on that last year. They can make Logan Webb's start days feel even more special than they are. I still think about, 2017, 2018, 2019, Madison Bumgarner walking out, and, his walkout song was incredible, and fans really showed up and loved to see his 8 warm-up pitches because, it was an aura, and there should be that around a Logan Webb. Maybe Jung-Hoo Lee becomes really marketable. I just think that there are ways that the Giants, the people inside 24 Willie Mays Plaza can really engage the fan base this year, and I think over the next few years, that's going to be imperative, and this is every member of the Giants organization. This is people thinking creatively. This is people thinking about how can we make Oracle Park special again, and how can we bring people back that we may have lost in 2022 and 2023 because the team wasn't nearly as compelling. And yes, winning matters a whole lot. I think at the top of the organization, everyone knows that a 90, 95 win team, that's going to be more marketable than a 70 win team. So you've got to have players that bring people to the ballpark, but I also think that the ballpark experience should be something that Giants fans can celebrate again. So resolution number 1, make the Oracle Park fan experience more exciting in 2024. Resolution number 2, this is on ownership. This is on the front office. Show that you're willing to invest in a competitive ball club. I think that every fan wants to see the Giants spend more money, bring in more stars, just field a team that's a lot more compelling. And I said this, look, Jung-Hoo Lee was a great first step, but there needs to be a lot more steps if this offseason is going to be considered a success. And I don't think that you can close the gap with the Dodgers in 2024 and probably not in 2025. This is a long, multi-year project for the Giants to show that they can be a contending team on an annual basis. But I think a lot of it stems from spend more money, show a commitment to not finishing second in free agent pursuits, and really show a sense of urgency. I think that that's what fans want to see more than anything, is a lack of complacency and a lack of, because we've done it this way since November 2018 when Farhan Zaidi took over, we're going to continue to do this way. Change your ways a little bit. Be open to being more aggressive through the free agent and trade markets, and, just change your ways and show fans that you're willing to do whatever it takes to put a winning ball club on the field. And that should be the ethos of the organization after every offseason. Yes, front office officials, executives in baseball are always thinking about the long term, but it wouldn't hurt the Giants to think about the short term and how can they be better this year, and then focus on 2025 next offseason. Do whatever it takes to be as good as you can possibly be this year, and think less about the future, because the present really matters for this Giants organization. So priority number 3, resolution number 3, participate in the trade market. And I'm not talking about the waiver wire trade market. I'm not talking about bringing in players at AAA from other organizations, something that the Giants have done throughout the Farhan Zaidi era. When a guy goes on waivers, everyone's looking at the potential fit. Does he have a high on-base percentage if he's a position player? Does he have a high strikeout-to-walk ratio if he's a pitcher? Forget about those type of trades. Get involved in a blockbuster. And look, you don't have to make a trade just for the sake of making a trade, but get in on Corbin Burns. Get in on Ha-Seong Kim, which is going to be really difficult to do because I doubt the Padres would trade him within their own division. But get in on some of these bigger players that are moving. The Red Sox just traded Chris Sale. I think that there are moves out there the Giants could make. Call up the Chicago White Sox and see if they're willing to move any of their stars. You never know what can happen if you're willing to part with some prospects. I think the Giants are at a point where they've got to make a more compelling, competitive ball club, and you might have to, as I've said in previous episodes, give up a little something to get something big. And I think that every fan would like to see the Giants participate at or near the top end of the trade market, because the last time there was a big deal in San Francisco, it was Chris Bryant back at the 2021 deadline. He wasn't the perfect fit for this ball club. They didn't want to re-sign him, and that was the right decision. But bringing him in for the second half of that season, that energized the ball club. It ultimately helped them win the division over the Dodgers. I think a lot of fans would like to see the Giants playing at or near the top of the trade market. So priority number 4, resolution number 4, give Logan Webb some help. And I'm not just talking about finding him someone that you can pair with him at the top of the Giants rotation and making sure that he doesn't feel the pressure every single day that he starts, that he has to win. Otherwise, the Giants are going to be a losing team. I'm talking about give him some help in terms of leadership and marketing the ball club, and another player who becomes a really core leader for this team. Logan Webb's the guy who's going to be here for the next 4 years because he signed that 5-year, $90 million extension at the outset of last season. You know what the Giants should do? They should pick someone in their own organization, whether it be a Patrick Bailey or Marco Luciano, sign them to a long-term extension, or bring someone from the outside, whether it's Blake Snell or Matt Chapman, whoever the Giants decide, and just say, this is going to be a player that, aside from Logan Webb, we're also building around. And I think that Camilo Doval has some qualities where you say he's going to be the closer for a long time in San Francisco. I just think it's really difficult to do that with relief pitchers because relief pitchers are volatile. Closers can lose their jobs temporarily over the course of a season. You're going to keep a starter in there every single start, every fifth day for 32, 33 starts a season. If that's Snell, if that's Kyle Harrison developing into that guy, tremendous. But make sure that when you end the 2024 year, that it's not just Logan Webb who's the moral compass and the leader of this club. Because Logan Webb is a tremendous player. I think he is got even better years ahead of him after finishing second in Cy Young Award voting. He is someone who every Giants fan should be proud to root for. He embodies what it means to create a winning culture, but he can't do it alone. There's 26 guys on a ball club. Give Logan Webb more help in 2024, whether that's a position player who the Giants can build around, whether it's someone who's already in-house, a prospect who morphs into a future leader of this club who the Giants really market and anoint as that next guy, or it's someone from the outside that they bring in through a trade or free agency and sign to a long-term deal. Just make sure that when you end 2024, it's still not on Logan Webb's shoulders and not on his shoulders alone, because this is someone who's done so much for the organization. He's big in recruiting people to Oracle Park, and he is someone who should have help and deserves help. So number 5 on this list of New Year's resolutions, the Giants must establish their core moving forward. They must figure out who is part of their future core and who is not part of their future core. Because right now, it feels like the Giants are in the midst of an identity crisis. 2022, 2023 were obviously not what the Giants expected on the field. They were years where the fans felt disengaged, and they were years where I think a lot of people gave up on watching the Giants during the second half of the season. Let's make sure that doesn't happen in 2024. It's on the front office. It's on ownership. It's also on the new manager, Bob Melvin, the guys in the clubhouse, the new coaching staff. Figure out who that core is. Who's joining Logan Webb and Camilo Doval and Patrick Bailey and potentially Marco Luciano and potentially Kyle Harrison. Let's take away potentially from those names. Let's figure out who's part of that core entering 25 and figure out who you can win with headed into 2025. I think that is one of the most important things the Giants can do in 2024 is figure out, hey, we're going to be selling these jerseys at the dugout store for the next 3, 4, 5 seasons. Entering 2012, the Giants knew that it was Buster Posey, it was Brandon Belt, it was Brandon Crawford, it was Pablo Sandoval, it was Tim Lincecum, it was Matt Cain, it was Madison Bumgarner. The list went on and on. It was not just 2 or 3 players. There were so many guys whose jerseys fans could wear and be proud of and excited about the future for. And I think that that is something that's missing right now from the transient nature of the Giants roster, from all the changes they've wanted to make, all the tinkering at the bottom half of the roster. Figure out who your top guys are. Make sure that headed into 2025, who the best players in your organization are and how you can supplement the best players in your organization with bringing in help from the outside, whether it be through trades or free agency. Is Jung-Hoo Lee one of those players? The deal that they just signed him to absolutely makes him one of those guys, so figure out what that means for the rest of your roster. That, to me, critical for the San Francisco Giants. So before we finish this episode, I just want to say thank you because I've had so much fun making the Kerry Crowley Show over the last 4 months. I've got big goals for this show entering 2024. If you've liked this show, if you've subscribed to it, if you've commented, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you because, as I mentioned at the outset of this episode, 5 years as a beat reporter, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It took a toll on my health. That's why I'm off the beat. It took a toll on my body, the lifestyle. But you know what? It was an incredible time. I'm fortunate to have grown up in San Francisco and covered the team that I grew up watching at Oracle Park since the year 2000. And now I get to talk about this team, talk with this fan base on this channel. To me, it's one of the greatest blessings. And so I enter 2024 with really big goals. It's not just, cutting down on my chocolate consumption and eating a little bit healthier of a diet and focusing less on being perfect. focusing on engaging with you, building this community, and making sure that we're having the best conversations we can have on here. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You made this a really fun 2023. This project that started out, really part-time once a week has taken off in the last month, and I can't thank you enough. This has been so much fun. Onward and upward. Here's to your best year ahead in 2024. Thank you so much.